Mm. How do you feel like the real estate housing market has changed in Saskatoon over the past few years? Do you think it's changed much in terms of like what you're selling, the kinds of people coming there, or is it largely like stayed the same?
Well, for me, I've been doing this, like say, over 13 years. So when I started, I kind of had I hung with a crowd where you always talk about, you always want to hang out with like people that are like, you know, I always hung out with people that made more money than me, or, I mean, you always want to try to get there. You surround yourself with people. So I always hung
Hmm.
out with, say, people that made more money than me. My clientele always had more money than me. So I always was selling, upper end houses. And I've kind of still sold the upper end houses. Obviously, I mean, we've talked about this before. I sold a $20,000, mobile home. But at the same time, I've sold $1 million houses. I think that I've stayed consistent on what I've sold, but I sell way more. Like it was funny the other day,
Hmm.
crazy stat going through my numbers just because on my website and different stuff like that. I've sold over $250 million in real estate. Quarter billion. That's a
That's
pretty big,
mental.
so when you add up all the bills, think about that over time. Holy, I've been in
Mm.
sold a lot of houses. But that's
Mm.
just it's an accomplishment to say that. But in the big scheme of things, it's really not that big a deal because the next person that calls me to sell their house, they don't care what I've done in the past. They just want me to get them the top dollar for their house today.
Yeah. And do you think that looks better for an agent who's kind of starting out? Do you think it looks better that they've sold a ton of homes or just like a few luxury homes? What do you think
I
looks
think
better?
I think volume is a big thing. Like to say that, hey, look,
Mm.
I've sold X amount of houses, thousands, opposed to if somebody goes in to sell your house and they've sold, a few hundred. I think that there's more trust, obviously more experience. So I mean, I'm doing like a luxury home and I'm going to a listing presentation for a $2 million house. I think that they want to see that you have dealt in the big dollar price point. If I'm going to list a $500,000 house, I think they want to see that, you sold lots in that price point too. It's kind of like if you're hiring a right winger to play hockey, you want to make sure he's a good right winger. You're not hiring a defenseman to play right wing. So,
Mm.
you know, same kind of thing with, if I'm going to go sell your house, you want to make sure I'm qualified. I have the right people, the right tools. If I'm listing $1 million house, I'm not taking pictures with my iPhone. I'm hiring the best photographer with drone, whatnot, and
Mm.
virtual tours. And that's what it takes to sell properties because a lot of people that are buying those properties are coming in from other cities, countries, and they do lots of, online shopping.
Mm. Yeah, for real. And online shopping, everything looks perfect in online shopping. So if those people are going from buying a BMW to then looking at a multi-million dollar home, they don't want that multi-million dollar home to look like it was shot with an iPhone 4. They want it to look good because it reflects the value.
Exactly.
Mm.
And people check you out online. Like when you go back to like talking about social media and stuff like that. And I always say this to people, if you're hiring a real estate agent, do your due diligence. Go check out their website, go check out their social media. That is so important. Like that's basically a resume right there. If you type in Jeff Will, you can see everything that I do. You can see my website, you can see my Google reviews, you can see my social media. You should know right there by looking at, my reviews, my stats, my web page, my social media, how consistent it is. If I Google an agent and they don't even have a website, what are we doing here? Nowadays, you know, if your social media account has you out drinking on a Friday night with friends, and then your next post is like a house you got for sale, and then your next post is like a video of something, it's all over the map. It's like, why are we getting these people to sell our house? This is one of the biggest decisions you're making and biggest purchases. Hire professionals. When you sit down for a job interview, they ask you questions. I'm sure that the company goes to your social media before they even call you for an interview and see if you're professional. So when you're hiring a real estate agent, whether it's me or whoever, check out their website, check out their social media, make sure they're a good fit.